Alright, time to dance again. Does this mean we're gonna get asked to dance by Hendrik? Oh, please. Please be what this is. Like every Thursday, the students celebrated harder than usual. Party music filled the air, people danced, and there were groups chatting outside. Of course I moved my body to the beat. When the song ended, I politely excused myself from the dance floor for a quick break. It's past noon back home. Mom probably replied to my email by now. I entered the lab and leaned over the chair position before my laptop. It would only take a few moments to read.
Checking your email?
Hey, your hair's down! Oh. I turned and Hendrik waved from the doorway before entering. I half expected him to fetch his coat and keys hanging on the door rack. Mom replied, already retiring for the night?
Soon. Rosemary and Sherry are enjoying their chat, and it's my turn to drive. Planning to rejoin the dance floor?
Maybe. It's fun, but it's not really my scene since it ain't got that swing. Ain't got that scene if it ain't got that swing. Do-wop, do-wop, do-wop.
Right, we've touched upon it a few times. How you love those old dances and jazz. Feel like dancing to some German swing instead? I got a few minutes to spare. Maybe you can demonstrate a few moves for me. I enjoyed the little cakewalk you showed me before.
Aw, for a moment I thought you were gonna ask me to dance with you.
And dance with this awkward look again? I think I embarrassed myself enough the first time.
He grabbed his laptop and we headed upstairs away from the noisy music. Well, it's just that it would be a lot easier if I had a partner, you know. You know. Right? Seems reasonable. Computer set up, I scrolled through his playlist, which was a mix of French, English, and Dutch. I was pleasantly surprised to find many familiar artists and marveled at his selection. You've got the cream of the crop right here. That's an interesting song choice for right now. I can't exactly Lindy Hop solo, but I'd be more than happy to Charleston.
Charleston? Is that the dance where you flail your arms and kick out like mad?
It's a beautiful and refined dance full of grace, beat, and bounce, I'll have you know. And yes, that's the one. I need something super energetic, fast, and full of trumpets. Let's see. Oh, this'll work. I kicked off my socks and moved to the center of the floor. I wouldn't perform complicated moves, but at least I wouldn't be sliding around like a skater on an icy pond. When the music started, I launched into the familiar kicks and swings of my arms. It was as though I was back in the jam sessions, competing against fellow dancers for the audience's undivided attention and applause. Please don't fall, Mel. My increasingly higher kicks gained momentum, and I shuffled on the floor, spinning and improvising little variations. I rooted my feet and shimmied my shoulders forward, giving Hendrik a playful wink before returning to the basic kicks. Entertained, he chuckled and clapped in response, encouraging me to hop faster. When the song finished, I was panting, arms outstretched, and heart pounding. Ta-da! The rush felt wonderful, and I took a bow.
That was amazing. I mean, you think it looked goofy, flailing around wildly, but there's a precision to it. And you look like you're having so much fun. It's hard not to get caught up in the energy.
With more people, you get swept up in it. You improvise and try to get a reaction from the audience. I shifted my tone to a tour guide impression. This 1920s dance was once considered too scandalous and promiscuous, associated with flappers and cabarets. It was banned from many dance halls. What is this symbol? Star, line, star. Oh, it's I with put emphasis here. I basically gave you the old-fashioned equivalent of twerking.
Equivalent of twerking? Oh boy. I think I prefer that version over any of the modern dances.
Then you'd prefer this. Oh! Hey! That's cute. That's really cute. Look at the way she's looking up at him, Since the music was still going, I grabbed Hendrik's hand and pulled him toward me until we were in the middle of the floor. While he recovered from my spontaneous action, I held his hand up with our elbows bent, my other hand resting on his shoulder. His expression softened as he studied our dancing position. After some hesitation, his left arm slipped around my back. We started swaying side to side, barely moving. It was a huge shift from the first time we danced, when we politely avoided each other's touch and remained at a comfortable distance.
I hope you don't mind my two left feet. Now I'm really self-conscious after your performance.
I inwardly applauded his tiny attempt to shuffle his feet, even if it caused his socks to graze against my toes. You're doing fine. Besides, I thought it'd be more fun if you participated too instead of being a spectator. Or I'd hope so, at least. I know dancing isn't your thing. Thank you for accepting my invitation twice now.
If it's with you, I don't mind.
I felt pressure on my toes, and Hendrik's eyes widened as he shuffled away.
Sorry, did I get you with my left foot or my other left?
Hendrik, are you in the museum? We should probably head off now. We stepped back and Hendrik... I combined hollered and Hendrik, oh dear. Hendrik hollered toward the stairs.
Coming, Rose. I'll be right down.
Hendrik cut the music and closed his laptop.
I'll see you tomorrow, Melissa. Thanks for the dance, and have a good night.
You too. Drive safely.
Always.
Aw, they dance! That's so cute! Yay! We succeeded finally. We got a winky from Rose, so that's good. Even if we don't succeed at stress. Man. Oh, hello.
Hey, Melissa.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering, have you explored Belgium outside of Cologne? Or Korea, for that matter?
Like over the weekends? With a small nod, I continued. Aside from my routine jogs, I haven't done anything.
I see. Would you like to join me in Namur this weekend? I have some errands to run, and I thought you might like to tag along. Check out the shops, get a view of the Citadel, eat out at a nice restaurant.
That sounds suspiciously like a date. A walk around sounds great, or a restaurant sounds lovely. Okay, so we're going either way, but it's how I perceive it, I guess. A dinner for two sounds romantic. Thank you. You had me at restaurant. I'd love to eat out somewhere nice, please. Living on camp food kinda does that to you.
I don't blame you. I get that way myself after a long work trip. It also wouldn't be fair if you spent 2 months in Belgium and never got to sample the best food we have to offer. Any menu requests?
Believe me, I won't be picky. I trust your judgment. What time are you thinking of?
Saturday evening. I'll even pick you up if you don't mind sitting on a towel. My truck's a little on the dusty side.
I think I can handle it.
Great. Let's give you a real cultural experience before you fly home.
Oh, I'm so excited! What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen on this date-o? Oh boy. Oh boy. Come on, weekend. Yes, we're here. Good. What is he doing? He looks so serious right now. I spotted Hendrik staring at his laptop. Instead of his usual work mode, he seemed to be contemplating something. What's up? Gah! Besides your nerves.
Oh, Melissa, good timing. Just thinking about you. Remember how you said you trusted my judgment?
Are you looking at restaurants?
Yes. I have a habit of looking at the menu first before seeing what the restaurant even looks like. This one looks great, but...
I peered over his shoulder. The website had stylish font, complete with screenshots of the restaurant's interior. Needless to say, the ambiance was fancy.
I was wondering if this is a bit much. I did say you should sample the best food Belgium has to offer, but if it seems too high-end...
No, I'd love to go. I don't mind paying either if it's the cost you're worried about. I haven't exactly splurged on this trip. Besides, I'd finally get to wear the one fancy dress I bought with me. I think it's still stuffed at the bottom of my suitcase. Good grief. Too excited, can't speak English. Pardon me.
Then it's settled. I'll make the reservation.
I thanked Hendrik and exited the lab. Did we get to see her in her dress? Because I'd love to see that. Thinking back, I admit the restaurant looked a little on the romantic side, complete with flowers and lovely stained glass windows. Maybe he was worried I'd get the wrong idea if he didn't ask me about the restaurant beforehand. I wouldn't mind if it felt like a date, if I'm being honest with myself right now. I'll just bum around the museum until it's time to go, I guess. There we go. All relieved of stress. Whoa. Wait, I gotta see this. This is a new place. Ooh. I awed at the restaurant's interior. The pictures did not do it justice. Hendrik greeted the server, and after some exchanged words, we were led to a small booth. A new waiter appeared and introduced himself, and I accepted the menu, unsure of how to respond. Hendrik explained something, and the waiter smiled at me. You ready for robot waiter? Welcome to Belgium. I hope you're enjoying your stay here. I nodded with a gracious merci before he went over the specials. When he was done, he left and I glanced around. Ah! Yay! We get to see them all dressed up and her hair's up! Ah, he's wearing a purple shirt! It's my favorite color! Oh my god, stop! Oh, her dress is so freaking pretty! I can't. This root! What has this root done to me? Ah! Adorable. It's been a while since I've been to an establishment like this. I hope I'm not out of place.
That makes two of us. It's been a while since I wore something other than field clothes.
You look great.
Thank you.
Donk you?
You look lovely as well. Teal's a pretty color on you.
Very. Looks great. Aw, thanks. I opened the thick 2-page menu. Thankfully, there were translations underneath each dish, and I found it hard to select one. That 5-cheese pasta looks divine, but it's not exactly new. Maybe I should try something more unfamiliar. Should I go for the duck? Wait, I can't split it with Hendrik if we want to share. Maybe I could order it with a vegetarian appetizer to split, but I want to try the crab-stuffed mushrooms. Or would Hendrik think I'm ordering too much if I did that? He's already seen my table manners. I don't want to add glutton to that list. He's just laughing. Decisions. I glanced over to see if Hendrik was still deciding. His menu was already closed, and he gave me an amused look. What?
Having trouble with the menu? You're a very expressive person when you're deep in thought.
Very. I gave my reasoning, and his mouth strained to hold in a chuckle.
Glad to know I'm not the only one who takes food seriously. Tell you what, order what you like. I'm not going to judge you if you order lobster. If you'd like to try what I'm eating, I'm more than happy to share. This is your first time trying real Belgian food. Just, don't go overboard in Belgium. It's rude not to eat everything on your plate.
Noted. Thank you for that. Relieved, I ordered chicken ballotine served with veggies, while Hendrik ordered smoked portobello mushrooms with arugula mustard. It would be accompanied by a glass of light red wine that he suggested. Once the waiter left, I picked up my bag discreetly. You don't mind if I test my blood sugar here?
By all means, go right ahead.
Grateful, I cleaned my hands with a disinfecting wipe and placed a testing strip into the meter. I would think you would do that in the bathroom, more so than right in the restaurant. What about everybody else who's eating? Although I had done this thousands of times, it was a little unnerving since I was dressed nicely and in front of someone who never watched before. Once I finished testing, I injected the insulin, packed my bag, and pushed it under the table.
How were the results?
I'm good.
Great. Didn't mean to come off as overly concerned.
I understand. Don't worry, you're not being nosy, and I'm not offended. If anything, I'm touched. People say I appear healthy, so it's easy to overlook my condition. On the other hand, I have family members who ask, "Can you eat this all the time?" especially when it comes to sweets like chocolate cake. I'd prove it to them by eating twice the amount.
Did it work out?
I'd usually end up on the couch groaning from an awful stomachache, and my mom would tell me to stop doing that. Our dinner arrived, and the heavenly scents made my mouth water. There was one thing I appreciated when eating with Hendrik. Neither of us felt the need to continue our conversation when we ate. Food comes first. Okay. After the bill was paid, we took the scenic route back along the Mouse River. The wine's alcoholic content was higher than I thought. I was already dozing off by the time we returned to Calais. Inside the lab, I muffled a yawn. I glanced at Hendrik, who turned on his laptop with a click. There was a spare set of clothes folded nearby. Planning an all-nighter?
Not this time. I'll leave it an hour or so. There's a few emails I want to catch up on.
I'll let you focus since I'm ready to pass out anyway. Thanks again for taking me out tonight. It was great.
Same here. Gute Nacht, Melissa. I'll see you Monday.
I was in the cave, but it was empty. Everything was muffled as I stepped on the catwalk, wondering why I was alone. Hello? Am I dreaming? The air felt heavy in my lungs, like a giant weight pressing down on my chest. Why was it so hard to breathe? I should get out of here. I took a step, only for my foot to plunge forward into nothingness. I grabbed the railing and the structure crumbled with a grating roar. I screamed, but my echoes died instantly. The bar became slippery as if coated with a slimy substance, and I struggled to keep a firm grip. Someone!
Melissa?
Huh?
Melissa?
Why did you have such a bad nightmare, girl? My head pounded and I felt something warm clutch my shoulder. I absent-mindedly tried to push it away. Who?
It's Hendrik.
I shivered violently, feeling cold. Slowly I sat up, trying to quell my beating heart. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light, a shadowy figure came into view. Hi. Hendrik knelt down beside me. I rubbed my throbbing temples as I tried to piece together my memories.
We're in the museum. You were crying in your sleep, so I decided to wake you.
I hugged myself, then grimaced at my drenched shirt and damp sleeping bag. I sweated heavily, and the sour smell lingered in the air. The silence must have been unbearable. Hendrik gently placed a hand on the sleeping bag next to me to draw my attention.
Was it a nightmare?
No, I mean yes. It was a hypoglycemic episode. My blood sugar is low, and... I felt something light land beside me, and it turned out to be my diabetic bag. Grateful I grabbed it, although my movements were slow and clumsy. My goodness, you can have an episode like that in your sleep? That's terrifying! Oh, thank goodness you're still here, Hendrik.
Is there anything I can do?
Sensing I was still muddled, Hendrik rephrased himself.
You need to eat something.
Something with protein or sugar. Cheese, peanut butter, fruit juice.
Got it.
After Hendrik disappeared, I tested myself. My glucose results were low, although not extremely. I cursed at my carelessness as I tried to determine where I slipped. Sometimes these episodes happened without warning, even with the strictest precautions. Was it the wine? The different eating time? Or the fact I skipped my usual snack before bed? Turned out I wasn't the only one swearing. I heard a few things clatter to the ground downstairs, followed by angry curses. I scooted out of the sleeping bag and sat on the edge of the air mattress. I hugged my legs while I waited, my forehead resting on my knees. The creaky stairs announced Hendrik had arrived, and he placed a plate on the floor in front of me. It consisted of chopped up celery sticks, half stuffed with peanut butter and half with melted cheese. Aw, thanks. Thanks, this is perfect. He sat down beside me. Our elbows grazed as I reached out and grabbed a celery stick full of cheese. The filling was lukewarm and I chomped down. After I finished one, I wearily rested against Hendrik's shoulder. Thanks again for waking me. I hope I didn't disrupt your work.
I was about to retire to bed myself. How are you feeling?
Much better. I'll test my sugar level again after I eat. You can help yourself, you know. You've prepared way too much. I placed my hand on the dish and shuffled all the cheesy ones toward my side without thinking. Oh, whoops, that's a little unfair. I reluctantly switched one out for a peanut butter filling, but it only made Hendrik laugh.
Don't worry about it. I can put the leftovers in the fridge.
I appreciate your help.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with needing a little help once in a while. Still feels like a blow to your independence sometimes.
Ugh, moving to the dorms was bad enough. Had to find a roommate who'd be willing to administer a glucagon shot in an emergency. I paralleled my pointer fingers and drifted them apart to demonstrate the size of the needle. Hendrik let out a low whistle. The person would have to not be squeamish with needles. Yeah, I would not be much help with that. When I was first diagnosed, I was terrified of needles.
How old were you?
The talk reminded me to check my glucose levels, and I casually unzipped the bag beside me. I think I was 12? I was going through a growing spurt. I saw that look. Hey! It was a spurt for me! Anyway, because I was going through puberty, my parents thought being tired, cranky and napping all the time was part of it. It wasn't until I had a severe hypoglycemic low that I was rushed to the hospital. We all thought it was some flu that got bad. Anyway, once I got diagnosed, my parents blamed themselves. They thought it was because they didn't encourage enough exercise, or that they didn't watch my diet. The test results were acceptable, and I relayed that to Hendrik while I packed up. It was a tough year. Constantly being monitored, changing diets, trying out different dosages of insulin to figure out what worked. It was scary and stressful, but now it's all routine to me. Thanks for listening to me. I rarely talk about these things.
I don't mind. I feel I can relate in a way.
He glanced down at his arm. Were you in an accident?
Car crash. Sometimes I think about coming up with a more interesting story. Landslide during a geology survey, or a mountain climbing accident. No, I had to doze off at the wheel, then veer off the Autobahn. Oh my goodness.
My gosh.
I'm just thankful I came out alive.
How long ago was this?
5 years? I was returning to Belgium and fighting off sleep. All of a sudden I heard a loud honk and swerved to avoid an oncoming car. Luckily no one else was injured. After that, all the tasks I took for granted became hard to perform one-handedly. I couldn't even get my hair in a ponytail. I felt useless, the phantom pains were terrible, and I worried about my career. It wasn't until Rose finally stepped in during one of my funks. She threw a bunch of clothes at me and said that I was the one stalling my life.
Sounds like Rose.
My job was still there, my friends weren't gone, and my family was worried sick. She said I could still do everything I'd done before. I just had to think of new ways to do it.
That's a very Rosemarie approach.
It worked, too. That was when I decided to change things. Like you said, it wasn't easy at first.
What did you do?
First, I got more tattoos to cover up the scars. The prosthetic arm already hides most, but it was my way to show that I was stronger than that, and that I wouldn't be held back by my accident.
Interesting.
I'm still a little clumsy in the kitchen, but I just need more practice.
He grinned triumphantly, then gestured to the plate, which had a few remaining pieces of celery.
All done?
Yeah, thanks for staying with me, and for the talk, and for struggling with the celery sticks. I grabbed the scrunched-up sleeping bag, but Hendrik winced.
We have a spare you can use instead. You'll sleep better in something clean.
Aw, thank you. He came back with a dark green sleeping bag. You're spoiling me.
In return, have a restful sleep. Night, Melissa.
Wait. The words were out of my mouth before I realized it. If it's not too much, could you hold my hand until I fall asleep? At first I thought he'd decline since he'd seemed hesitant. However, he sat down on the mattress next to me. He gripped my hand and I felt a gentle squeeze. Thanks. It felt safer, more secure like this. The warmth was reassuring and I closed my eyes. He fell asleep here! Oh, weren't you cold? Aww. Aww. Adorable. Freaking adorable. It's not tears, it's just onions, I swear. I stirred slowly before opening my eyes. When I moved, I felt something warm sandwiched between my fingers, and I absent-mindedly squeezed it. Vision clearing, I realized I grasped Hendrik's hand. The memory of last night trickled back. Hendrik slept near the edge of the air mattress with one leg on the floor. His eyes were still closed and his chest rose up and down slowly. Judging from his awkward position, he fell asleep unintentionally. At least it was better than passing out in front of his computer. I shifted, slipping my hand out of his grasp, causing him to stir as well. Morning. He yawned, then abruptly stopped and sat up.
It's morning already? I was only resting my eyes. Didn't mean to fall asleep as well. Hope I didn't startle you.
No, I didn't mind. I trailed off, sensing there was something between us we needed to discuss. Hendrik broke the tension.
I should make some breakfast. You can freshen up while I cobble together something.
You sure?
Of course. I know what's in the kitchen. Besides, last night was rough for you. I think a nice hot shower is in order.
And he spoils her so much. Grateful, I thanked him and grabbed my toiletries and a change of clothes. Refreshed, I entered the lab to see that Hendrik had prepared something. He set down a bowl mixed with yogurt and strawberries and drizzled with honey.
It would look more appealing if it was prepared in a fancy see-through cup, but you'll have to settle for a parfait in a regular bowl.
Wow. I'm sure it'll taste just as good.
Dig in.
I eagerly devoured the sweet treat. As I scraped the last bits of yogurt, I glanced up at Hendrik, who was sipping his coffee. I'll do the dishes in return, since you've been spoiling me.
I don't mind. I enjoy my time with you. It feels natural having you around. It's easy to forget you're only here for the summer. What I want to tell you is, I care about you a lot, Melissa. More than a friend.
My cheeks heated up and I needed a moment to voice my thoughts. Since when?
Gradually? Rosemary pointed out I mentioned you a lot in our recent conversations, but I thought it was because of our field interests. Then when I was searching for restaurants and saw pictures of the one we went to, I noticed it was rather romantic looking, and that I wouldn't have minded if it felt like a date.
And then I walked in during your realization.
I thought my heart would leave out of my chest. You startled me that bad.
If it helps, I had my realization after I left. I thought it'd be fun if it was like a date. We exchanged a silly grin, relieved we shared the same feelings.
It does complicate things, though.
Is there something wrong?
Well, technically I have a teaching role here. I may not be an instructor, but I still assist students and influence their grades with my input. The last thing I want is to get you into trouble because of me, and there's a lot of trust placed upon me. Not just by my uncle, but also the teachers and the faculties. Local students or not, I have a position of responsibility.
I knew you were helping out, but I didn't think... Shoot, if people thought you were involved with a student, I'd hate to get you into hot water because of me. I'm sorry, I should have been more aware. You really don't give out the teacher vibe.
Yeah, people tend to point that out. I have a geology background, not teaching, and I'm still young. At least, I think 28 is young.
Should we keep it strictly professional from now on?
We could put it on hold until your field school is over and discuss it then. You're also younger than me. I don't want to feel I'm hindering you in any way. You'll have many opportunities presented to you, and then there's the long distance. There's only a week left, but it'll give you time to consider whether you'd like to be in a relationship with me. You might change your mind as well, and I wouldn't fault you for that. Until then, let's maintain a polite distance. I should go. Rosemary knows I was supposed to return yesterday.
Does she suspect something?
I think she knew before I even did.
My heart. Oh, gosh. Ugh. With that, he stood up and affectionately ruffled my hair before grabbing his keys from the table.
I'm your professional mentor again, starting now. I'll see you Monday.
Later, and thanks for everything. It's good to see where we stand. When I heard the front door close, I pouted and slurped my lukewarm coffee. Why is it up to me? Although I understood why he encouraged me to think it over, it wouldn't be the easiest relationship, and I've only known him for less than 2 months. Maybe he was worried I'd jump into it without being serious. But still, I felt he underestimated me a little. Standing up, I grabbed my empty cup and noticed the forgotten mug by Hendrik's seat. I smiled as I picked it up. Routine. Yeah, I could get used to this. You guys would be an adorable married couple. Oh my freaking goodness, I can't even.